Add to stream. Okay, there we go. Bye. I'm sorry. I'm good. Hello, 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 guys. You know me and my technical self, non working computer self person, but we're going to get with it because we want to get this information out to the family out there, guys. I'm Rachel Real coming back at you with another episode of You Ain't Crazy. You Ain't Crazy is a podcast where I give support and validation to individuals who have found themselves in a narcissistic relationship. And again, I'm just more, my interest is definitely making sure I bring you the content and the supporting information, guys. And today we want to talk about, why do you care about the narcissist, what they think of you? Why do you care about what they think of you? And I have a guest today. I'm so excited. It's my girl, Kisha B from Hit the Reset, guys. You guys have heard me talk about her a lot because I like to give resources. She has a book. She has several things out there. You have to check out her website, but this is my notebook that I'm always journaling in and writing little things down. She'll tell you more about Hit the Reset, also helping people to transition from their trauma to triumph, victory, to kind of get you out of that situation and just helping you to be self-aware and personal development. Like, we're going to talk about it. You see these two characters behind me? Those are the narcissists, guys. Welcome to Narc and Narc. Those are the narcissists behind me, because basically you when you're involved with a narcissist, this is what you get. So today's question is, why do you even care about what they think about you? So we're going to talk about it. We're going to have a conversation. We're trying to make light of it, guys, because you got to laugh from crying. So we want to get you to that point where I'm sure by now you know what narcissism is. You know what a narcissist is. You're probably saying to yourself, how did I end up here? Like, it's just so much. So I'm doing my diligence to make sure that I'm just giving you information and giving you support so that you can get on your healing journey. You can continue on your healing journey, just like I had to do. I wasn't always able to laugh and speak about this, but I feel that the things that I learned and what I had to do in order to get to this place, if I did it, you can do it too. Because mine, not only was I dealing with narcissism, I was also dealing with a person who battled alcohol addiction. And at that time, he was in denial about both of them, even though he knew. So long and short, just to put the disclaimer out there, I am a certified life coach and a divorce strategist, and I'm not a therapist, counselor, psychiatrist, or anything of the like. And I'm here to share with you my experience with what happened to me, the experiences of others. We're going to talk about it just so that you'll know, guys, you are not crazy. Very often that narc will have you believing that you're sick. You don't know if you're coming or going. And when you're in it for a long time, you will start to believe like something is going on with you. So we're going to talk about it today. Like, why do you even care? Why do you care about what they think? Let's talk about that. So I'm going to bring Kisha in, and bear with me because, again, your girl is not tech savvy, but I'm going to click on this button and let's see, add to stream. Boom.
Hey.
Yes, I did the daggone thing.
You did it, girl. You did it.
I was a good, look at me, look at here. I don't know if I can do it again, but you know what? God is good. What's up, girl?
Thank you. Look, I'm so happy to be on this show with you, Rach. Let me first say, I'm so proud that you are doing your thing.
Thank you.
You are, yes, you're new to YouTube, but you're not new to this arena
at all.
And your podcast is incredible. You're 40 something episodes in. Excuse me. Let me have a little sip of my.
I hope the volume is loud enough. I don't know how to turn volume up. Let's see. I'm scared to mess up anything, but I'm gonna leave it alone. I can hear you. I'm hoping that our sound is okay. I don't know if there's a way to deal with sound or not. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine. It sounds great on my end. But no, I was just saying, you're not new to this, and to create this awareness, this is a great thing that you're doing, and I'm just happy to be a part of it, be on the You Ain't Crazy podcast show. This is so awesome. So yeah, thanks for having me here.
Absolutely.
For sure, for sure. So just, I guess, to give the audience a little bit about myself, I know my sister has been sharing information about me. My name is Kisha B, and I am the CEO and founder of Hit the Reset LLC, which is a transition to triumph. Excuse me, you guys. And so I focus on.
You can take a break. You know, we live. We understand.
Yeah,
we are live.
I'm gonna take 5. Race, you go ahead and carry it.
Absolutely. I'll talk to them.
Yeah, you can
take a break. All right, guys. Kisha is going to just clear her throat so she can come back and talk with us. But again, today's episode is definitely about, why do you even care about what the narcissists think of you? You know what I mean? Like, when someone is devaluing you, mistreating you, lying on you, lying to you, causing you so much grief and tears and trauma and stress. You know, some people have had strokes, heart attacks, just can't function right at work, fall into depression. Like, my prayer is that you get to a place where you just don't care. Let's talk about it. You know, you have to ask yourself, why do I care about someone who does not care about me? If a person is not reciprocating the love just like you're doing and care for you the way that you do equally, why bother? And I'm here to really give you, or we're here to give you that encouragement today to get to a place where you understand what abuse is, you understand that you deserve better. And if you're stuck and you're not quite getting it, Kisha is definitely good with that, with personal development, because you got to look at yourself. You got to ask yourself, why is this okay? But Kisha, you good?
Yeah. Yes, girl.
Go for it.
A little scratch in my throat. That's what happens when you go live sometime. You know,
there you go. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen when you're going live. So excuse me, I had a little scratch in my throat. It ain't the Rona, y'all. I don't have the Rona. I don't have the Amarion either.
Amarion.
Thank you, Jesus. Right. I don't. But no, Rachel, you're absolutely correct. I really focus on the healing aspect of it, right? It's getting from that place of being stuck in a narcissistic relationship and finding your way through that. How do you hit the reset in your life? And that's such a big thing. And it's not something that happens overnight. It's something that takes a lot of work, but you first have to be aware that you're even in a situation like that. And like you said, the topic for tonight is why do you even still care what they think?
Right.
And a lot of reasons we care so much still, even after the fact, what they think is because that's what they groomed to do, right? It's always seeking their approval, seeking their attention. So that doesn't stop just because the relationship has stopped or just because you walked away. You're still in some kind of sixth sense codependent on their approval of you.
Exactly.
And that takes a lot of work because it really is based on the codependency.
Yep. Yeah. So you got to have, as we talk, you know, you and I talk often, you know, Kisha was my person that when I was originally going through just the phase of really understanding, what am I dealing with? Like, I didn't know anybody who I could talk to, guys, because very often people will think that they can talk to anybody, like friends and relatives and stuff like that. And that's not something you can do, because people will look at you like you're crazy, especially if you start calling the name a narcissist. They'll either downplay it or, you know, make you think that you're crazy, or girl, you know, they'll try to treat it as if it's a regular relationship. Even the church, they'll treat it like it's a regular type of abuse or something that somebody can just, you know, turn it on, turn it off. They can go get help. This thing is a mental disorder, guys. It is a mental disorder.
There's nothing regular about narcissistic abuse.
Right. That personality. Yeah. When you're thinking that you're dealing with a regular person, but we all have personalities. And when somebody is really seriously battling, I'm going to say battling narcissistic addiction, I'm going to make up something. But when they have that personality that, you know, they're just the personality of sabotaging a good thing, because the nicer you are to a person who has a narcissistic personality, the worse they will treat you. That is so true. I had to live it. I'm not angry about it, because I wouldn't be able to talk to you guys today if I never knew about this thing, if I didn't go through it. So I feel that God chose me because I was strong enough to handle it.
Yeah.
And because of that, I'm now here to talk about it, not to shame nobody, but to raise awareness about this personality disorder, and to get people who are still in that just that victim place. Why do you feel like it's okay for them to treat you that way? Why? Ask yourself, why am I still struggling, caring
Right.
about what they're doing, what they're not doing, who they are with? If someone treats you terribly, think about it. If it's somebody off the street who treats you some type of way, a bad way, are you really going to try to be friends with them? Are you really? I don't know about y'all, but 9 times out of 10, people in our culture, we ain't dealing with nobody who ain't treating us
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
or wrong.
Right.
We ain't doing it. If anything, you're going to be ready to throw down or something like that. Or, if you're past that stage, you can be like, you know what? I'm good. I'm out. I'm not bothering you. I'm going to leave you alone. I'm going to end this situation, all of that kind of stuff. But
Right.
we'll get into this relationship with a narcissist and give them all kind of passes when we should really be treating them the exact same way. No matter if it's
But
your
here's the thing
spouse.
about it. The as we already know is the narcissist, they don't just start off mean, right? They're not starting off in that narcissistic state. This is like a slow burn, right?
Exactly. Right.
They are literally grooming you for abuse.
Right.
And then before you know it, you've lost your voice. You don't, before you know it, you're so wrapped up in this kind of relationship with them. So it's to me, it's a different kind of scenario. Somebody off the street, there's no investment. You don't know them. You would never let nobody punk you on the street. At least I know how.
We know you not.
But this narcissist who has done all of these things, it's like, it's the only way that I can like correlate like a connection is thinking of crabs in water, right? So when they're in there and the water's boiling, they don't know that they're getting ready to die. They don't know. A lot of times it's the water is boiling, and before you know it, you're bubbling over. So that's kind of the way that I kind of think of that, is that you don't know that you're in those kind of situations until you're really in it. Until
And
you're
that's
looking
where
up
the
and you
work
don't know
comes.
who you are anymore. Till you're looking around and you're wondering, why are you always sad? Why are you always crying? Why are you always hurt? Why are you always frustrated? Nothing is going right. You can't do anything right. You can't say anything right. Until all of these things are
And you
happening.
can't talk to nobody because you
Because
already
nobody will
made them
understand.
think. You made
Yeah.
them think that the narc is okay. You made them think that the narc is the best thing since sliced bread, and
Oh
they knew what they
yeah.
were doing.
Oh
They
yeah.
knew
Well,
what they were doing.
9 times out of 10, you're the trophy wife. 9 times out of 10, your relationship looks awesome to everybody. They
And you're
wish
looking
you
at other
look like
people
you're
like,
out
you
of
don't have
something.
this.
Right.
You're looking at other people like, you don't have this. You don't have
Yeah.
what I have.
Yeah.
He's my best friend. We have pillow talk. We're so close. We're this, we're that. So how in the world, if you're carrying it that way in front of other people, you're going to look like a complete fool sometimes in certain situations, to go back and be like, that is not the case. That was
Mm-hmm.
not the case. Like, he's horrible,
Mm-hmm.
So
And
back
then
to
some of the stuff you don't even want to tell anybody. Some of the stuff that
it's
they're doing
embarrassing.
to you, you would be ashamed to tell people what's really going on. So that's another thing that keeps you stuck in that kind of situation too. Like, you don't want everybody to know this fool is really dogging you out.
That's why for me, when I did back up and came out of it, I would say I was like a ghost in the night. Like, I'm not telling friends, I'm not telling anybody, because number one, I don't want anybody to try to talk me out of it for the 10th time. I don't want anybody to, I don't want to be embarrassed either. So it was a couple
Right.
of things. I don't want nobody saying, oh, try harder, try, because they don't understand. Oh, he's such a good guy. Why would you do that? Oh, don't leave. Like, I knew after all of the different things that we went through, and breaking up, coming back, married, divorce, leave him, divorce him, stop the divorce, come back and marry. Like, it was too much, that I
Yeah.
knew to help the people out there. You got to get to a place where you don't care. You just
Yeah.
literally don't care what anyone thinks about you. Like, stop talking. And I say it all the time, silence is your biggest defense. That is your greatest armor, is to be silent. And that's even with other people. Like, you can have that one person that you can talk to, which is why I became, it was almost like an addiction to different content creators that resonated with me. And I say it over and over, Dr. Romani, the T on MPD, they really, really resonated with me with the things that they were saying, talking about. I was like, yes, somebody gets what I'm talking about, you know. And then to come across mental illness, who's a diagnosed narc, like, that is what really, really helped me. So I knew to go and tell somebody that I'm learning all of this stuff from YouTube, they're not gonna like, they're gonna look at me like I got two heads.
Like,
but at the end of the day, look at me now. Look at me now. You know, so if I can do it, and what I was dealing with for 5 years, if I can do it, you can do it too. And you got to have that trusting person that you feel you can talk to, which is, thank God I had in you, that I could literally have someone to talk to who didn't think I was crazy. Because after a while, you start feeling like you're crazy, because especially the church is going to tell you go back and pray and fast. Like, how much more can I do? You know, and people telling you to just go back, when all along I knew I was talking to these people. I'm like, how do I do it? Narc. Like, you know, this is exactly who I felt like I was going home to.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I would have rather go home to them. I would have rather have gone home to my stuffed animals, you know, narc. I don't even want to give them that title, but I would have rather have gone home to them, because at the end of the day, that bird was just, it was just crazy. So I say that to say, when you've gone through all of those types of things, why do you feel, Keish, why do you feel people just ruminate, they stay there, you know, when it's, and I'm sure it has to do with trauma, you know, what would you say to them, you know, to help them? Because it's almost like a rhetorical question. We know why, but let's talk about it, because we want listeners to definitely ask themselves, because that's the thing. You know it, but you got to ask yourself, why do I care about somebody who does not give a crap about me? And
well, yeah. You know, I think that, I think one of the biggest things is, when you think about the dance between an empathic person and a narcissist, right? This is a kind of dance between the two. And so I think a lot of times as empaths, we think that we can fix people. We think that we can just love them so much and love them out of whatever it is that they're going through, you know. And I think that that's to a fault of our own as empathic people. We want to fix the situation, so we stay and we fight even harder, and we make this change, and we do this because, oh, it's all in the name of love, and we want, you know, we genuinely love this person, even though they didn't genuinely love us, but we accepted what their version of love was, because
but the crazy part, Keish, is that
the love that we knew.
The crazy part is that we were loving ourselves.
We were loving
because it was a fake person. So I feel that if you get to a point where you really got to come to acceptance, and you know, that goes back to that death. The relationship died. The minute that mask slipped, the relationship died, and you'll never get back to that first love bombing place ever again.
It's like a drug. Like an addict chases that first high, right? Like because, and that's how it's set up. That's how they set you up. That's what the love bombing is designed to do, is to get you addicted to the good times. And so you're steady chasing that good times. Well, it was so good in the beginning. Oh,
that's why we were
best friends, right?
And that's why they rush you. They rush you to put it on you, so that when that mask slips, you're too invested, or you feel too invested, and they know you're going to keep reaching for that first person that they showed you, which was really never them. And I had to learn that the hard way, because I never would have thought that adults would take that amount of time to really invest. They're investing that kind of time to destroy you. And once you find out exactly who they are, very often people will try, I was there too, people will try to keep getting back with them because you're yearning to, especially if you have kids or whatever, you're yearning to be like, oh, I got to make this work. Oh, knowing full well, you see some people really looking crazy. Thank God I didn't get that bad, but they begin to really look crazy, like begging a person, like, please, you can treat me any kind of way, just don't leave me. Why do you know? And I know obviously when people do that, we got to look at ourselves. You got to look at yourself and say, why do I feel like that's okay? So that just comes back to knowing your self-worth. And I think that's where people may struggle, and understand it, because there's no way, as we talked about before, that when you're healed, you can allow that to happen. Brokenness attracts brokenness. Like, I can't even imagine. It's almost like I look back at where I came from almost a year ago, and I can't even believe I was in something like that. I can't even believe that that was Rachel when I look back at knowing that I know better. But I say that to say, anybody who's still wondering why I care about what they're doing, who they're with, like some of the questions that I see trending. Will they love me again? Do they think about me? They stalk their pages. You want to follow them. Like, you got to get to a place where, why do you, and ask yourself, why do I care? Like, look at them, to be honest. When a person mistreats you like that, and even though you're my spouse, to me, that's more of a reason why you don't get a pass. That's more of a reason. Somebody off the street don't know me from Adam. But if I've been in your life, I've been your ride or die, and you literally can do this to me, you should be the first person I discard. Instead of them discarding you, you should be discarding them.
But somehow they know how to twist it all up. Somehow they know how to hoover just right to suck you right back into.
That's why I've been pumping these videos.
That crap, right? And again, it's you have to think of the mindset of a person who allows themselves to continue to be abused, right? So a lot of times, and it could be, to me, it could be a few different, it could come from like a few different angles for a person who allows herself. Well, first of it is always a lack of self-love. It's always that, because again,
why they accept
already acknowledged, if we loved ourselves and we weren't broken, we wouldn't accept it. But I think also a lot of times it's investment, because you feel like you've made such an investment into the relationship that you just don't want to walk away. I think that's another aspect of it. I think another aspect of it is
so when they make the investment, they've made the investment.
Yeah.
Now the account is overdrawn.
Yeah.
You want to keep the account open?
Yeah. I mean, half the time, you are in debt. You're in emotional debt. You're in psychological debt, mental debt. You're going to pay one way or another being involved with a narcissist. That's just, there's no escaping that. And so for those people that are still going through that, it takes time. First of all, it doesn't happen overnight. And so my thing is, be gentle with yourself, be kind with yourself, because you have to relearn how to live your life, how to live a normal life, because you're so used to living in dysfunction. You're so used to living in a certain way and reacting to situations instead of being able to look at it for exactly what it is. A lot of times I think we just immerse ourselves into whatever the situation is, whatever the drama or the dysfunction is with the narcissist, instead of stepping back and being like, okay, that's not who I am. Right. So you have to relearn these things. And it takes a lot of time. It takes sometimes, for some people, it takes therapies. For some people, it takes coaching. And it's important for you to get that help. You don't have to go through it alone. And I think, again, this is such a great thing that you're doing here, Rachel, is spreading this awareness. The information is out there. People are out there and ready to help you, who have actually experienced it, who've actually went through this stuff, that know how to get you to the other side. And it takes patience. It's spiritual warfare. So a lot of times you have to really be ready to dive into
Mm-hmm.
what is holding you back on a spiritual level. And those are some of the biggest revelations that we come into our life, especially dealing with the narcissist. It will force you to face your fear.
Yeah.
It'll force you, whether it's insecurity, abandonment, feeling disrespected, whatever that is, it's going to force you to face that fear, and so that you can find a way to get over that. But it's a good thing, because the sooner that you can do that, the better, and you can really step forward and live your life the way that you deserve to.
Find yourself again, because they just drain everything out of you. And again, that's why when I think of that title, like, people who, and I want to be gentle with them, just as they should be gentle for them with themselves. But at the same time, me, as I told you, I can't hold back any longer. I can't, it's so much information out here. And it gets to a point where people will only do to us what we allow them to. Mm-hmm. They will only do to you what you allow them to. If you get to a place where you say no more, like literally say the words out of your mouth, no more. I am done. And I do feel like you've got to take that approach. That's what I did. I took the approach that we, as a spouse, this is just a contract. Yeah. This is a piece of paper where we're married on paper. But when you look up marriage, what I had is not the definition of a marriage. It was a situationship. So when you come to grips with understanding exactly what you have and you're being honest with yourself, no one should live that way. No one. Right. And you're no longer going to get a pass. That's how I looked at it. You will no longer get a pass just because you're my spouse. And I feel the same way, like people who might be the parent of a person's child, you share a child together, whatever. You're just no longer will get a pass for to get a pass to have access to me, to keep hurting me. And that's where I think when you get to that place, it's not even about the person anymore, that you literally can see them on the street and be like, hey, and keep it moving.
Well, that's why it's important to go no contact. That's why that rule is in place. And no contact is probably one of the biggest rules when it comes to healing from narcissistic awareness. You cannot heal in a place that has broken you. That's like the number one thing. You have to go no contact. That is so and if you cannot go no contact, you have to establish a gray rocking technique. Find a way where you are limiting communication, where you're limiting interaction, because it's easy to get sucked right back in. It's easy to fall back into the old pattern.
It's back to what we were saying earlier.
Is to get away from it.
Mm-hmm. Like we were saying earlier, how it's like a drug.
Yeah.
It literally, and I've never been on drugs before, right? We haven't been on drugs before, but what you hear, everything that you've learned about drugs, the addiction, we all have had some form of habit that we had to break, whatever that looks like, but it feels like that. And it's one of those things where you got to break the habit. And no, it's not easy. We understand that, but you got to start somewhere. That's what I think. I think people goes back to that procrastination. It's wrong. But it feels too hard to let it go. Yeah. And you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And the reason why it's good to go no contact, because if you contact them, they can say things that can make you break or relapse. They can do things that will make you relapse. Yeah. So it goes back to that cycle of like an addiction to the drama and to the pain. So the more you heal, because you got to heal, because the more you heal, it detoxes that stuff out. So instead of looking at the narcissist, you focus on yourself with that personal development and, just self-empowerment, like everything positive, but it should be about you and not the narc. And every time you think about them, this is a technique that I use, because you'll think about them. Obviously, you fell in love with the fake person. They showed you somebody, you fell for it. Can't knock yourself for that. Anybody can do that. But once you know better, you should start doing better. And that's what I did. I had to back up to say, you got to come to grips, shed your tears, cry. Who you fell in love with did not exist. And make a decision. Can you live this way for the rest of your life? Can you live with someone devaluing you, disrespecting you, lying on you, lying to you, gaslighting you, having you question your reality all the time? Right. Just manipulating you, giving you the silent treatment, having you thinking like, what did I do? When? How? You know what you did. You know when that happened. That was 10 years ago, 3 years ago. What you talking about? I don't even remember. Like they'll have you. Can we get past it? I'm sorry that I did that. What do you mean?
And have you apologizing from some stuff where y'all wasn't even together.
Exactly. You're apologizing for something you weren't. First of all, you didn't do it. Second of all, if you did do it, you did it years before you even got with the person.
Right.
And they don't even know each other. It never happened. But you lied. You shouldn't have never said it. And I don't deal with people who do that kind of stuff. What do you mean you don't deal with people? Like, it is so crazy. And when you look at it, you be like, so whenever that thought would come in, like, oh, you miss him, I had to regroup and be like, no, I don't. This happened and that happened. And back to, I told you, I use your little book. You just write down, okay, this happened. Oh, that's right. Oh, I remember when he bullied me. Oh, that's right. He cursed me out. Oh, that's right. He lied on me. He talked about me. He
me. Keep a journal of all that.
I'm like,
because you really have to be intentional about your healing and your self-recovery, especially when you know that you're in an abusive situation, because it's abuse straight up and down, no matter how you look at it. And so you have to make a plan. You have to move with intention. You have to make sure that you really have your wits about you, even more so, because they know how to get in. They know how to like sneak attack you, right? So you have to make sure that you are focused and intentional and know what your goal is. Know that, okay, I'm done with this and this is where I want to be and this is how I'm gonna get there. Have a plan in place. And it's so important. And once you realize that you're with a narcissist, if you're married, the only natural thing is for divorce to come next. Okay? That is the only thing. Separation and divorce. You have to get out.
You have to make a choice
to leave.
Either you sign up to lose yourself, or you end it and gain yourself, get yourself back.
That's right.
Because each thing is going to be a journey. It's a process. If you stay there, I promise you, it's not going to get any better. And then you hear people talk about the sex. Let's not go there with the sex. Please. Please don't go there with the sex. Because ladies or men, whomever, it's enough people in this world that please don't sit there, because I've heard that too, where, oh my gosh.
It's the community peen.
Stop. Do you want the community D? Do you want
the community P and the community D? No, thank you.
And half of the times it's back to our mind, because when you're healed, that thing don't even feel right. You really begin to realize how deprived you are. Mm-hmm. You know, with somebody saying, oh, girl, I'm going to get you when you get home. I'm going to make love to you. Like when you come back to your senses, you're like, what? You don't even know how to. You begin to really see things as they are and no longer make excuses, because as I was sharing with you earlier, where women have a tendency to lie. They fake it and act as if the man is really doing his thing, not to shame a man, but come on. When you're with a narcissist, you're sitting up there 9 times out of 10, you couldn't dare tell him that his performance was weak or is weak, because he's really going to cheat on you if that's the case. He's doing it anyway. But 9 times out of 10, ladies, you know for a fact that thing is not, I know in my situation.
That would definitely cause a narcissistic injury, girl.
It would cause a major
narcissist. If you tell a narcissist that they're not a good lover.
So ladies, don't even sit or
you hold on to that for the rest of your relationship. And every time he do something, well, you said this, or well, you think that. They will throw that.
And the crazy part, they're gonna do it anyway. They're gonna do it anyway, whether you say it or not. So it's like you're protecting them. So don't stay there saying, oh, the sex is great. That is not a reason to stay with someone. And back to my rhetorical question with, why do you care about what they're doing? I know why you care. But the point is, the reasons why you care is not enough to say stay. There is never a reason why anyone should stay with somebody who treats them the way a narcissist will treat you. Pointblank.com. There is never a reason for you to stay there.
No. Because at some point you have to look at yourself, right? Because you can't just be a victim. Once you know Once you know better, you're supposed to do better. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking at stuff and you know and you have a sense of what narcissistic abuse is and think that you're in that relationship,
right?
As soon as you think you're in the relationship, you're in the relationship. Because before you even started looking for this information, stuff has been happening. Stuff has probably been happening for years. And now, so it is your responsibility to get out. It's your responsibility.
Definitely, if you have children,
responsibility to take care of yourself, especially if you have children. And I'm tired of hearing, "Oh, we're in it for the children." No. It's better for the children. Statistics show it's better for children to be from a broken home than a dysfunctional, abusive home.
No child should have to wake up
by staying in these toxic marriages and toxic relationships where he's abusing you, abusing them, kicking your ass, kicking their ass. No.
And people do it all the time, which is why I'm so adamant and persistent about raising awareness, joining this community to raise awareness about this personality. You do not stay in a broken relationship. It does not give you brownie points to stay in a broken relationship, a toxic relationship, when you have minors. That is dysfunctional. No child should have to wake up and see fighting going on like they're in the streets between two people that they love. They should not have to see that. And when it gets to that point, no shame to you if it's happened, because I've been there, but you got to come to grips with, you know what? This is not what I want my child to see. I don't want them to think that this behavior is okay, because guess what they're going to do? They're going to do the same thing, or they're going to allow someone to do it to them. So if you can hate the situation, you can love your child more than you hate the situation. That's the way to go. Let me end this. Let me stop the toxic, just the whole toxicity, stand in a situation where it's just abusive.
Your children should be your motivation to leave.
They should be your motivation. That is so true. They should motivate you, but I can't tell you over the years how many people will look at the two-parent household and feel like as long as there are two people there. And I'm like, no, if they're dysfunctional and toxic, that is not acceptable.
Yeah, it's not acceptable.
Dad comes in whenever he chooses to, or mom comes in very often, not to say that men don't go through it, but it's very prevalent more with men where Papa lay his head is his home. And you come and go as you please, and mama's sitting there crying and all of that. And when the kids grow up, they're wondering, why didn't you leave him? Why did you keep us here? So now they're resenting you.
Yeah.
And how many broken grown men in our community live that? When do we stop? Half of them were raised in a broken home because half
the time the daddies wasn't even there.
He did whatever he wanted to do.
Or he was
Mama may have not shown up. She may have not showed up for the child. So now you got a full-grown man stuck in a boy's body because no one showed up for him emotionally, and that maturity got stunted. So now you're 40 and 50 years old or 60 dealing with trauma and don't know how to show up for a woman.
Yeah.
And then you just repeat the cycle.
And you're repeating the cycle. I mean, because narcissism starts from childhood, right? It's something that learned behavior over time. And by the time they get to adulthood, you got to think how it could be so severe. So because there are different, you have malignant narcissists, you have covert narcissism. So you have all these different spectrums of narcissism, but there are certain things that they all have in common. And so those are the things that you want to make sure that you're looking out for. So if there's a lot of highs and lows and a lot of lies and a lot of emotional abuse and a lot of cheating and a lot of gaslighting, 9 times out of 10, if a person's gaslighting you, they've already got narcissistic tendencies.
And they have, and then it shows where they have no remorse. Yeah. Like they don't care. They're looking at you like,
a lot of times they don't have any remorse.
They're looking at you like,
leave you holding the bag.
They get mad with you for you showing an emotion or a response to the abuse that you're receiving. And that's the other thing. Do you want to live like that? Do you really want to be with someone who shuts down your feelings that you can't
Honey.
express them, that is, you're just dying. You're dying. If you can't express, somebody done beat you mentally. Some people have gotten beaten physically, and you got to just shut up. Or if you say something, you're going to get mocked and laughed at. So it's almost like it's an emotional debilitating type of state that they try to put you in. And a lot of women fall prey to that stuff. Can't get out the bed, don't want to eat, don't want to deal with the
It's
children.
abuse. It's
Like you're
abuse.
like a second or a second away from exploding.
Yeah,
So how
it's
do you show
abuse.
up for yourself? So it gets to the point where back to that personal development, you got to get to a place where you can say no more. Why
Yes.
do I care? Why do I give a
Yes.
damn about this person? And I
Yeah.
say that not to say you're going to wake up one morning and say, the feeling is going to go away, but you surely can wake up and say no more. And that way you speak it into the universe. You manifest it. You manifest your peace of mind. And that's where the work will start to begin. And when you fall short, you got to put the work in by means of therapy, counseling, coaching, whatever that looks like. You can reach out to Hit the Reset. You got Kisha B right here. You're meeting her in person. Check her website out, tap into those services. I'm here as a divorce strategist to help you to create your team, mitigate the situation, draw up papers, just so that the mediate as well, because I don't know neither one of y'all from Adam. So to have a person like myself or Kisha B have individuals like us, but you got to get those services. Coaching is really, really good amongst counseling, therapy, whatever that looks like for you, because everybody have different stages where they are. But one thing, you got to start somewhere. Because if you're sitting there and you're still worried about what a person is doing who treats you so terribly, treats you worse than the person off the street would treat you, worse than your enemy, your worst enemy. They will treat you worse than your worst enemy. Enemies don't even treat people the way a narc will treat somebody who they say they love. And you're wondering what they're doing. Wouldn't it make more sense to say, let me start my healing journey and say no more? And worry about your children should you have minor, if you have minor children. That way you can work out joint custody unless you're just an unfit parent, and that child will have a chance to see both. They can see both. They'll know what not to do, and they can see what they should do. So it's like start there.
Yeah. And I think it's important. You touched on a lot of great points. In the healing process for women, I think it's really important for women to learn emotional intelligence. And that's that comes with your development, right? That comes with your journey to your healing process. And that's being able to be aware of what the emotion is, but not sink yourself so far into it. Because again, when you're talking about why do I care about what he even thinks, or why am I worried about that? It has to do with your emotional intelligence. And so it's okay to feel it, acknowledge it, but learn that is just a feeling, right? Emotions come and go. And once you learn how to process those emotions, it gets easier and easier and easier, because you don't have to fall back. You're not prey to the same abuse. You're not prey to the same thing. So it takes time. It takes steps. But the information, like we said, it's here. The help is here. The resources are here, that you don't have to go through it alone. But you do have to have a strategy. You do have to look at your resources, and you do have to have enough self-respect and enough self-love to say enough is enough.
What are some of the things you would say? What are some of the things, or what kind of advice would you give to someone who's stuck, who's asking themselves, like, or they're answering that question, like, I don't know why I'm here. If we're asking them that question and they tell you, I don't know, what advice can you give them to start somewhere?
I guess the first thing that I would have somebody do is kind of just stop to really have some internal reflection. I think that's what's important, because only you have the answer. There's some things that we can't answer for you. And so it's really going to take a moment for you to have that self-reflection. I think that that's the first place that you need to start is, what is it in me that is allowing this, right? Start with, even if it's simple as making a list, sitting, just having a moment with yourself for a moment to make a list as to what's happening in your life and why do you feel like you're allowing those things to happen. The next is to get a spiritual foundation. You have to have a connection because it's bigger than you. This is bigger than who you are as a person. And there's a reason why you're going through it. And a lot of times God will put us in position because there's something that we need to learn for ourselves. And there's something that we need to be able to have a testimony so that we can help others go through the things that we've been through. So when you've healed, God's putting you in position to help heal the next person. This healing is just not, it's not a one person thing. I think it's so much bigger than that because we're all connected on some type of level. So I really think that it goes further than that. But that would be my advice, is to just kind of stop and take a moment. Of course, be gentle with yourself. Don't beat yourself up about it. You've been beat up enough. You've hurt enough. Deal with it how you would deal with it if it was your daughter, if it was your son that was going through that type of situation. So give yourself some grace, give yourself some mercy, and be kind to yourself through the process. It is a process. It is a process. So, and talk to somebody. That's the biggest thing, because there's somebody who can help you kind of get the motor running in your mind and help to give you some direction. Again, that's Rachel and myself. So you ain't crazy, hit the reset. But when you're starting to find these resources, you'll get a lot of the answers that you were asking yourself, you know, and it'll start to click like, yeah, that's true. That's true. And I don't have to be so hard on myself, and I can take a moment to myself. So those would be some of the things. And of course, you know, don't engage, you know, kind of start to separate yourself from any of the back and forth, from any of the bullshit.
Yeah, the silence and your best defense. And you have your planner. You have your planner that can help them. Tell us about that.
I do. Thank you so much for bringing those up. I'm super excited I'm about to launch my planner, and the planner that I have for women, it is a 6-week self-care planner. And so there's some quizzes in there to help you have some reflection about where you really need to focus on self-care in your life, if that's emotional, if that's physical, if it's mental. So it'll really help you kind of zero in and focus and take a look at, where in my life do I need to do the most work when it comes to taking care of myself. 2021 was a year of realization for a lot of us. But for me, 2022 is about self-care. It's about more of your healing. It's about really becoming more enlightened and really being in alignment with who you are as an individual. And so that is a lot of the work that you have to start to focus on when you're starting to have some reflection and really start to get to know who you are again. Because when you're with a narcissist, a lot of times you've lost yourself. And you don't know who you are anymore. I know that I went through it. I didn't know who the hell Kisha was anymore. It's like, girl, where did you go? You know? So my planner is designed to do just that and really help you to step into your space. Because we don't have to play small, right? That's not what we're here for. Is to play small and shrink ourselves in order to build somebody else up. And if somebody needs that from you, that's not the person for you. And then I also have one for men as well. And so the one for men is Transition to Triumph. And it's about them learning how to build self goals. I think a lot of times narcissists are so dependent on other people because they don't have a sense of self. And so it's important for a man to have direction. It's important for a man to have goals. And it's important for a man to be able to also have some self-reflection. And this is what that planner is designed to do. It's a 100-day goal planner specific for men. So it has ideas and things that are specific to the mindset of men. So yeah, y'all look out for that. I'm excited to launch that. And hopefully
Where can they
I'll let
find
her
it?
know. And you'll be able to find it on my website, hittheresetllc.com.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's on my website. I'll be doing a pre-launch on Facebook as well, so you can find me at Kisha Benjamin on Facebook,
Awesome.
and Hit the Reset on YouTube, because it'll be on YouTube as well. I'll be doing my launch. So
Tell us
yeah.
a little about Hit the Reset. Give us a
Sure,
little
sure.
information.
So Hit the Reset, as Rachel has mentioned, it is a life transition, personal development, and empowerment coaching company. And so what it is I focus on helping people to hit the reset in their life after narcissistic awareness, abuse, trauma, even things as restarting in your life. I also help people when it comes to relationship and intervention coaching as well. I am a big believer in let's attack it, let's get it done now. And so, especially with intervention, it just need a lot of times people just need somebody to give them some direction, and somebody to listen in without bias, who can steer the conversation, everybody be able to speak and say what they need to say, and to come and find a common ground. Even sometimes there's not a resolution, but you can still find common ground.
Exactly.
And so
Agree to disagree, kind of like that.
you can agree to be able to disagree, and come up with a plan that's best for everybody. But that's what hit the reset is just coaching for personal development, and for healing, and for finding your way into the life that you deserve. Healing from these abuse, healing from trauma, healing from just being stuck. A lot of times we're just stuck and we don't know how to get where we need to go. And so that's what Hit the Reset is all about. And so, especially, like I said, in 2022, this is a new year coming up. Yeah. There's a lot of us that need to hit the restart right now. So true. Do it, and do it putting your best
great time to start.
Now is the time to start. And then also, I am just about to wrap up a program as well for entrepreneurship and business. And that's to be able to, I want to be able to help people to take whatever their transition is and be able to turn that into a profit as well. And so take your transition into your triumph, but turn that triumph into a profit and something that can work for you as you're stepping into your purpose, and then as you're stepping into your healing. So that'll be an additional part of Hit the Reset once that's all said and done. So you guys look out. We have so many good things to work. Yeah, we have a lot of great projects. Rachel, you've got some great projects coming up. Yes. Have you told them about all the good stuff that you have on your plate?
I have. I actually have, usually when I drop in to make these videos, I'm always giving up information, but I'm so happy to have you here today. And I definitely kind of wanted your light to shine, because you're usually behind the scene a little bit. You got so much going on. You've helped me. And back to the intervention, guys, it was one of those things where I can give you an example of what an intervention looks like. I had a situation where the narcissist that I was married to, I played a part in it, because it was one of those things where when you're in a relationship with a narc and you're being love bombed, and again, if you're single for a while and you come across this relationship and you're thinking, oh my gosh, you are the best thing. This feels so right. It feels so great. You're sharing the information. You're telling people about the person. He shows up. You go to events. You look like the best couple. People will say, oh, you are so in love. All of this stuff. And I'm like sucking it all in. And long and short, now's the time where I feel like it's okay to introduce him to my sons, my family. Like, I thought he checked all the boxes. So I'm giving you access to my loved ones. And I don't do that lightly. Like, I waited until my baby was 18 years old. He's 25 now, but I waited until he was 18. It was 19 when we got together, before I even introduced him to him, because I just wanted to make sure if it doesn't work out, never knew it was going to be a narcissistic situation, but if it doesn't work out, I don't have to worry about minor children, whatever. So long and short, gave them access, even with my son questioning about the drinking. I'm like, you don't have to worry about that. Everything is okay. I defended it. And my kids have always looked up to mom, like, she has it all together. If mom says it's good, it's good. She's good. She knows what she's doing. So they're never going to think that I'm going to get myself into some triangle, some web, not knowing if I'm coming or going. So they really, really trusted my judgment. So when I allowed this man access, gave him access to my kids, he and my baby son became very close. Now, my adult child, who's 25, and he was 19, 20 at the time, but they became very close. So long and short, when the man wronged me, my son was a little distant, and I had to feel when we got back together, then I had to bring him back in. Then he wronged me again, and we're out. Then I'm convincing my kids, oh, my oldest son too, oh, he's good. So long and short, my son just got to a point where he's like, look, something's wrong with you, mom. Like, you're losing it. You're this, you're that. And then he started siding with the narc. And I'm thinking, what in the world is going on? So long and short, and you're talking years of this, like the whole 5-year time span. So when I came out of it, I'm finally thinking, Rachel's back. She got herself together. She's out of that. Her kids are going to look at her like she got some sense again, blah, blah, blah. Long and short, that never happened. It never happened. And I basically had to regain that trust. So I needed an intervention because it was like my child was not believing anything that I said, so that was very hurtful, so I needed that intervention because I didn't know what else to say. It was like every time I said something, it got worse. The narc had access to my son to make me look crazy on the other end. So back to silence, I just had to be silent. But at the same time, I just missed out on getting invited to certain things. They didn't want me around, said I was trouble, and I wasn't even with the narc anymore. So it was devastating. It was so hurtful. So that intervention, because I was so broken, even after leaving, these were like the after effects. So yes, I had to reach out to Kisha. She helped me with that intervention. We basically had like it took about 4.5 hours. I was like, you can't leave. Like, we need to get to the bottom of this because I'm so broken and I can't have my son upset. So long and short, guys, that was like back in probably April when that took place. And my son came over that night after that conversation, and hugged me and cried because we were able to get to an understanding and hit the reset. Kisha helped me to get there. That's my testimony for her services, how powerful they are when you're trying to transition from your traumatic experience, your trauma, things that has happened to you. In my case, I talk a lot about narcissism. I relate a lot back there, but it's not only narcissistic abuse. There are other things too that you might have to face and get out of it. And maybe you're having some conflict with family members as well. And at the end of the day, nobody feels okay when their loved ones are at odds with each other. It's not just, your significant other as far as a relationship, a romantic relationship. It can be a mom, a dad, a friend, whatever, because narcs can be in any of those types of relationships. It can happen. That type of relationship can happen. The toxins can be there. You may have had some stuff that happened years ago. Whatever it is, you got to face it. You have to face it. And we had to dive in, and that 1 hour here, 1 hour there, guys, didn't work for me. I'm like, you can't let this 25-year-old get away. I need him here while we can. This young man, we're going to get it all out. Let him talk. Let him get everything out. And I got to learn some things that he was feeling. And then I was able to address it, the things that he felt. But at the same time, she brought it out in us on what to expect, what to do, what happened. She was able to touch on those points that we weren't able to do together. So she was able to mediate, and then we were able to hit the reset, guys. And when I tell you it's been a blessing, we haven't looked back since. And my son and I are back like this because he was always my baby. But that narcissist, in my case, giving my ex-husband access to my son, he just tried to destroy. They will try to destroy any relationship you have. If you look like you're loving your child or loving your mama, your daddy, your friend, your best friend, they want to destroy every good thing you have because they feel empty. They don't want you to feel happy. And he knew that we were close. So he couldn't get to the other one because the other one lived out of state. However, he knew that one who always came around, let me get to him. And how did he get to him? By love bombing him. He love
manipulation. Yeah, I mean, but that's what they do. They manipulate everyone around them, and especially those ones that they know that you're close to, that you love. And that's how they have their flying monkeys around them, right? Is that they've love bombed them, they've taken them through the cycle as well. But that's one thing, just to speak on the power of of coaching and intervention coaching.
Absolutely.
Is that you can really sit down and really get to the bottom of it in that one session. You know, a lot of times when you're going to see a therapist or a counselor, it's your 1 hour, and sometimes you just can't get everything done in 1 hour. It's going to take.
It ain't even 1 hour, because 15 minutes you got like 45 minutes, because they got
you got 45 minutes. Nothing gets resolved. You're left and you're leaving, and you haven't gotten to the bottom of it, and you're still frustrated. But in the intervention, it really is, let's sit down, let's figure this out, and we're not going to leave until we can come into a mutual agreement, whatever that is.
And we didn't have to come back. We were good. The tools that we learned, we were good. We were able to both get our thoughts out. We were able to address them. We were able to just hit the reset, exhale, get everything out. And it was so great, because we really didn't have to, okay, let's make another appointment. Okay, let's make another appointment. Okay, let's make another appointment. And those are fine if you feel that you still need that. But a lot of the times you might need a few hours, and it's when you add it up, it's kind of the same if you had to go 3 sessions, but it's like getting your 3 sessions into one when you make your appointment with Hit the Reset. It's kind of like you when she does your intake, she kind of know what she's going to have to deal with and how much time you're going to need for that situation. And if it's necessary to get a break, because at first we were like, yay. And then you get to a point where it's like, she's like, wait, stop.
Yeah. I know how to reel it back in. I'll reel it back in for us, so that we didn't even
have to be in person. We were able to do it right over the phone, virtually. You can do it. Of course, my son was like, she's not getting it. I'm done. No, you're not going anywhere. So she was able to talk to him. So that was back in April, guys, and we haven't looked back since. So it's very real when you have coaching. You got to put the work in. You have got to put the work in. If you want change, you got to put the work in. That is the only way that it's going to work for you. And in order to put the work in, you got to become self-aware. You gotta, and as we wrap this up, you gotta become self-aware of what you're dealing with. Stop making excuses. Stop being a codependent. Stop being an enabler. And if you don't know what that looks like, ask. Reach out to our services. Reach out to somebody's services. But again, we're here talking to you, and we can answer your questions. It's not much we have that has not come across our path. We can't cover it all in one session, however, or one podcast. However, just speak whatever it is you're going through. I guarantee you we have a plan for you. We can work it out to help you in your situation, to let you know you ain't crazy. But I will say, if the narcissist wants you to think you're crazy. Now, if you sit around and keep letting somebody beat you down, lie to you, manipulate you, call you every name out the book other than your name, every name. As a matter of fact, you probably don't even know your own name anymore, because they call you so many other names. And if they're doing that in front of your children, and you walk into your home and you don't have peace, you can't rest peacefully without them constantly bothering you. You might have the other woman calling your phone. The more you allow them to do, the worse, the more they're going to keep doing. They're going to get to a point where they won't respect you at all. They're not going to even worry about your feelings. They're going to start dissing you right in front of your face. They will pull out the phone and talk to the person sitting right beside you. While you're sitting beside them, texting or on social media, liking and loving posts right beside you. So you got to start somewhere to say no more. And because of the trauma that you've gone through, because it is traumatic, you got to look at that. No one to fall in love with a fake person.
Come on, Narky Narc.
Get it over here. Wait a minute. To fall in love with this, and you thought it was real? Can you imagine that behind that face you had this, and at least he's smiling? But when the mask lifts off, that's traumatic, because it never existed. And then you're thinking, oh, I got to start all over. You're thinking all of these things. Guess what? It's okay. I stand here to tell you, Kisha stands here to tell you, it's beautiful. Life Life is beautiful. It's
There is
peaceful.
life on the other side of it. And let me tell you, when you get to the other side of your healing, when you get to this other side of your recovery, like you wouldn't even look back. You won't
Don't
look
look
back. You
back
won't
at all.
you're not gonna miss it. You're not gonna miss it. Now it
You're
might
not going
cross
to
your
miss it.
mind every once in a while, and that's just to be
Yeah.
honest. But if you can make it through something like this and really get to the other side, there's nothing you can't do. And again, God is going to bring you through that so that you have a
Yes, he will.
testimony and so that you can help the next person. It's so important that this community, this narcissistic awareness community, continues to thrive and
Yes,
continues to
yes.
build,
And we're
because there's a
growing.
lot of people who need the healing. There's a lot of people who need the information in any way that they can get it from. To me, there's not enough content on it. And there's a lot of
Exactly.
content on narcissistic awareness and abuse. The more the merrier. So everybody has their own story, and it's going to be your story that's going to bring healing to the next person. So please,
And let
please.
your trauma,
Yeah.
that you've gone through, it's really your purpose.
Yes.
It is your purpose. God
Yeah.
chose you because he knew you could handle it. He
That's
didn't
right.
choose you because he expect for you to stay there. It could be your test. Your
And,
test.
it's time to change that trauma to your triumph. This is your
Yeah.
triumphant. This is your year for triumphant. This is your year for victory. And so stand strong in it, knowing that you are supported, knowing that God got you, and knowing that there are people in place that are here to help you get to
To
the other
help
side
you.
of it.
Yes.
We're
Just
here.
reach out.
Yeah.
Reach
Yeah.
out. The help is there, guys. You don't have to
Yeah.
do this alone.
Yeah.
You're not alone. We get
Yeah.
it, especially in our community. We get
Yeah.
it. We
Yeah.
as women, we get it. And even men, we're not taken away because we know you guys get abused as well.
Yes,
And
they
we're
do.
here for you as well. There is a process. You don't have to handle things the way that you've been handling it. We get it when you're dealing with Jezebels and all of that kind of stuff. So we know it happens on all different ends of the spectrum. Just do
Right.
something about it other than enabling a person to continue to mistreat you. And this
Right.
is what this podcast is about, is to raise awareness about this personality, this disorder that people have found themselves in. And no one, well, before people weren't really talking about it. So it's really, really great to see people talking about it more, just as we're doing. You have any closing words, Keish, as we wrap it up?
I do. Just peace and love and blessings into the new year.
Yes.
It's up to you to be intentional about where you want your life to be. Have a plan for yourself.
Yes.
And to me, it's like really the skies is the limit. I think everybody has the potential and should have the wherewithal to hit the reset in their life. And I'm really passionate about that. It doesn't stop. Take it to where you want it to, where do you see yourself? Where do you
Right.
see your life? What do you want for your life? And that comes in the form of development. Everybody needs some personal development in their life. It comes in the form of healing, self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and then learning how to change those old belief systems that you have into something that is more beneficial to you. So
Right.
good luck, everybody. And to Rachel, I mean, like, again, I'm so proud of you, sis. You're doing
Thank
a
you.
phenomenal job out here putting out the
Thank you.
information.
And
And
these narc streets,
and these narcs be narking in these
you
narc
know,
streets.
the enemy is angry. He is angry with your girl, but guess what? It
They
is
gonna
what
be
it is
mad. That's
because
okay. That's
I
okay.
am spreading the
So
word.
spread the
Do
word,
not let
girl.
those folks take you
Yeah.
or just dog you. Don't do it. Time out for
Yeah.
that nonsense.
Yeah. So yeah, y'all hit the reset.
Hit the reset,
Come holler
guys.
at me. It's hittheresetllc.com. That's how you can find me. So I'm around.
And you can reach me at just contact me. Either drop a comment on my page and I'll contact you. I will respond. Or you can send me an email to you ain't crazy. And crazy is spelled CRAZEY at gmail.com. I know how to spell crazy, but that was the only email that I could put. So it's you ain't AINTCRAZEY at gmail.com. If you have any type of, whatever your needs are, whatever you're looking for, the services and things like that, because everything is a case by case basis. So we can just kind of like help you guys from there. And again, reach out to Kisha on Hit the Reset. She can definitely help you with your trauma, transitioning from that to triumph. And you can sit here and smile like me, and be okay. So it's very, very real, guys. You got to put the work in. So we're going to wrap it up now. Thank you so much, Kish, for joining me today on my channel.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
See
Love
y'all
you,
later.
girl.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
How do I end it? Oh, so exit.
Yeah, exit.
Okay, let's see. Exit. She's my tech girl. Let's see. Okay, end broadcast. Yay. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We are out. Thank you. Bye.